get over there. Spread the fuck out.
Okay, this is your basic AR-15 M4A1 carbine or any Armalite rifle. Comes standard with a 10-round magazine depending on state. hike up. So we have your basic handguns, your Browning high power, your Musoc 45, your Glock clone like PSA and PSA daggers, your M9 Beretta or M9 series, and you got your Desert Eagle. You have your revolvers. Go over that later. So here are your basic rifle platforms, starting from like the rifle high powered calibers from 308 by 51. No, wait, no, 762 by 51. All the way down to 308, basically the same caliber, potentially different cartridges, like this M24 by 300 Winchester. What was it I got? It's like a 6.8 or something, or 762 by 54R. This is also 762 by 54R. This is a 30-06 rifle. Moving down to a 50 BMG out of your MAJ1 Barrett 50 cal and the old M99 Barrett 50 cal. So here are some of the legal state compliant firearms that you can potentially get in California, but anywhere else in the United States. All the way down to the old Italian AR 7090 and the MCX. So we'll start off with the basic M4A1. Your M4A1 comes in a variety of sizes, different lengths, and different looks. Your standard AR-15, your M4A1, M16, M16 carbine, M4A1 carbine, M4, same firearm, same gun. Different manufacturers be like DDM4 with general offense, Colt, Armalite rifles, etc. Smith & Wesson also makes an AR-15 variant, and your AR-15 rifle will come with a back piece just by itself, the flip-up sights, and the original 4A style front sight. Some firearms come with a carry handle, so we'll just go in here for a second. We can throw on flip-up sights. So this is what your basic sight will look like. Pretty standard, but your peep sight won't be as big. It can be that big. Same goes for this one as well.
Let's do it.
This is just a standard sight for your AR-15. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't come with it. Like your little ARPs with a buffer tube. It comes in various customizations. You see where the flashlight is? That's where one of your panels can come off of. Your basic M4A1 does come with a panel like that sometimes. It just depends on who you're buying from. Sometimes you can have it with a PEC system or a flashlight laser combo on top. You just go with IR since I have night vision. So the basics of purchasing firearms and firearm upgrades is to help with precision, accuracy, and aesthetic. You can take this laser sight as an example, place it anywhere on your rifle, on your weapon system, just like how this honey badger is. Put it to the side, the bottom, lower, upper. So yeah, depending on state and law, the way you customize your firearm may be legal or compliant to your state, such as building something similar to this would get you a felony charge, especially with a foregrip and a stock. To my knowledge, having a grip or forward grip, any type of grip at the front end of your rifle can lead you to at least like 7 to 15 years of a felony charge, especially with a suppressor combined with it in California state. And by California law, you are abide by 10 rounds for your magazine. If you have something like this, probably go to jail for a long time. But what you can do is buy a firearm such as this. This would potentially be legal or registered as a rifle. So with your rifle, throw on any optic you like. It doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter what it looks like. As long as you have an optic, that's fine. You won't really have extended magazines unless you know where to buy them, where to find them. Unless it's a Freedom Week. So since it's a rifle, some people or some cops, some states, they don't like foregrips or anything to hold on to. So this would just be a basic, in your house firearm. It's on an EOTech, a Russian Cobra, Israeli Mars, or an Aimpoint, or a regular red dot, right? Or this. Doesn't matter what your sights are. You can even throw on this Trigicon, or an Elcan, or this is an Elcan, or this C789. It doesn't really matter. Putting tracer rounds. You can have your weapon set up any way you like.
Green, dude, let's go.
You don't have to be the best shot, but you will have to zero in your sights. Your optic will not come zeroed, especially when you put it on. When you take a few shots, you'll notice that you will have different points of accuracy, perhaps. But nonetheless, when you are using your gun, you'll have to tweak the circle and the dot. They're both same thing. So when you move one, both of it moves together. Then it should align with the end of your I forgot what it's called, but the tip point of your front sight. For example, it can be offsetted like this optic.
Okay.
Which should be okay as long as it's zeroed in. Zeroing is basically putting your sight in the middle, and wherever your bullet lands, then that's where you have to adjust your sight. See how it's offline? You can remove or fold down that front part. I will show that with a market key. So this is a market team for DD. You get Daniel Defense Mark 18 upper for your lower in California. As long as you register and have all the necessary FFL licenses or FFLs needed for that upper, etc. So this is off-centered, but it is zeroed for the rifle. As you can see, the middle of the irons, it is offline, but the round will hit wherever it goes. So if you live in the state of California, buying something like this, regular and normal, moving on to like this rifle, Honey Badger, it should be legal to buy for civilian use. You can buy many firearms if they're in the blackout. Like I said, you can customize your firearm in any way you want, hold firearm any way you want, just depending on state laws and compliancy of that firearm. You may or may not be facing charges. So an optic like this, dot, wherever that dot lands is where your bullet's gonna go. So 300 blackout compared to 5.56, like your 22 caliber rifles, like M4 or M16. They have different velocities due to barrel length. Like the M4 should be like a 14.5 inch. Your Mark 18 should be like an 11.5 inch barrel. Just minor differences. And your M16s will come standard with a 20 inch barrel. So each rifle is different, its barrel length is different, but the bullets are all the same. Each cartridge will have a different power output due to how long you're shooting. If you're shooting distance, it'll lose energy. Energy means it's going to lose power. For example, if we look at the stats of this firearm, Honey Badger, it has a low velocity, but its power is extremely higher than, or significantly higher than a M4 or Mark 18 due to barrel length and how much powder this thing is burning. The Mark 18,
I'm loading!
I apologize. The 300 Blackout is similar in power with a 7.62 by 39, like an AK-47 or your Draco. But having a rifle setup like this is totally up to preference. You can even throw on a brake or a cop, or put on an 18 birdcage, however you like the firearm made.
Yeah, good to go.
So you can have your rifle zeroed and lined up with your target
New magazine!
in any way you want, but as long as that dot stays where you need it, as you can see, the bullet is kind of dropping lower than what I am shooting at. My dot is aligned on the head or the upper torso, but the bullet is dropping. That is because the velocity of this firearm in the video game, it drops significantly more. Now moving on to something like your long gun, right? It can be M16A2, M16A4, it doesn't matter. Same firearm, same mechanism. Each Armalite rifle platform will always be very similar to everything else. So like I said, every Armalite rifle, Colt rifle, or anything similar to it will come with an aperture sight. I believe that's what it's called. With a 20-inch barrel, you'll have more energy output, faster velocity, with the same caliber as an M4 or a Mark 18, even though it has a shorter barrel. In different ranges, it'll outperform some guns. Moving on to an AK. No. Where's AK-47? AKM. KM, AK-47. Similar thing. Chill up. Okay, I'll just with this. So this
Cover me!
but this is a more modern AK platform. I'm very unfamiliar with AK platform firearms, but they do perform very well. Sometimes its accuracy may not be the best, and it may not be the worst. AK platforms are very reliable. Give them dusty, dirty, don't clean them for months, it'll still operate fine. You throw on any optic you want, even a long optic, or LPVO, low power, variable optic. Throw on a PSO sight if you have one. Throw on anything, you can literally throw on any optic you want. As long as you zero it, as long as you find the proper distance of what you're shooting at.
Alright, I'm good.
So 7.62 will outperform a 5.56 cartridge by power and stopping power or knockdown power. Stopping power is potentially how many rounds to hit a target until they stop. So if it were to be a 7.62 by 39, then it will have more significant power to take down a target. Such as, like, for example, this F2000 chambered in 5.56, it has less power than a 7.62 by 39. These cartridges may be inaccurate, but they are very powerful and lethal up to close to medium ranges. It's kind of difficult to hit targets from a very long distance without a high-powered scope. Taking this ACOG for an example, and a recoil grip. If I were to hit target out there, it's gonna land where I need it to be or a little bit lower. And like I said, as long as you have your rifle sighted, then it will always stay true to where you hit your shot. Another thing about firearms is laser. Some people like lasers on their firearm, some people don't, some people do have them, some people aren't a fan of them. Yes, you will have to zero in your laser. You can tell it is kind of curving in towards where the barrel is, but your firearm will still hit the same location of where you zero it. For example, the laser is still where my point is on the optic, on the reticle. So that means I'll be hitting in that area. Your laser will not move unless you move it with a tool. So having that zeroed, you are able to hit different distances, close range, far ranges. Your laser will stay true for like however long and how powerful it is.
I need a sec.
So getting an AK platform is legal in any state. I believe there's no restrictions to it, but they come in different shapes, sizes, and forms, just like your AR-15 platform. Your AK will always have this standard rear and front sight, which is a little hard to shoot with. Iron sights are pretty small time to time, but hitting your shots is difficult if you're a first time shooter. So AK-47s come in different shapes and sizes, made by different people. This can be all red wood, black, and polymer, or all metal. So this is also a 7.62x39 firearm. AKs are very popular and well known around the world, used by many and used by all civilians of every country. You can have a Picatinny rail attachment, as long as you slide it in. I can show you. So there's this little hinge area that you'll have to look for on your firearm when you do buy one, if you ever buy one. And you'll see that it requires another piece to, line up your optic. To go with this OKP sight, it's not aligned, but it's still gonna work the way it needs to. Substitute by 39 out of this firearm will outperform by power all these guns. Moving on to your Krinkov, your AK-74U, AK-74SU. This is a shorter version of your big brother, AK-74. Your AK-74 becomes a break by default. This is used by like Spetsnaz, Special Forces, etc. Like I said, AK-47 also comes in different shapes and sizes, different manufacturers, different looks, different everything. This is more of a modern firearm that the Russians use more often and preferred by many operators. And if we take this PK sight, it's also off-centered, but it still does the job when you do zero it in. Even if it is offsided just a little, the more you practice with it, the more you use your weapon, you'll understand it more, you'll find out what works for you, what different video games does give a bit of customization, and what you would like for your gun. Just like Sandstorm. So the output power of this is one step below a 5.56. The AK-74 or 74U will still perform the same like an AK platform. Any AK platform firearm will perform great under stress, and if you don't take care of it, it'll still be fine. You can see the very, it's smaller than the other one, but you can see similarities. It does take after its big brothers, the AK-47 and 74. This may not be the very best gun, but it does have its drawbacks. For this firearm, it's short, stubby, and loud,
Green to green, dude.
which
Let's go.
may off-put a lot of shooters or new firearm owners.
Hey, I'm loading.
Getting this firearm in California, it may cut down the barrel very short to what you people would, other civilians would call it Draco. I'm not quite sure if that is the name, but I would prefer to call mine Krinkov. So they'll probably chop off the stock and cut down the barrel as short as they can get it to stay raw. But for other people, they might be off-put by this gun,
Good to go.
by caliber, by look, or its origins. I'm not quite sure how accurate it is. It is one, like, furious firearm. It's an angry gun. And it's very fun to shoot. Pretty thin, low profile firearm. Used in many places. Now moving on to your higher calibers, we have your 308 guns. So an FNFAL is a Belgian made gun with full automatic capabilities and semi-auto. The 308 gun, or 308 cartridge, will take down many bad guys really fast. It has high stopping power, stronger than a 7.62 by 39 or 5.56. This thing will put a giant hole through you and rips you right through your car. Same thing for like a Galil series. These things are pretty sure they're tuned in 7.62. This is a Galil, a Russian Galil, I believe. I passed it. I'm not quite sure where it is. Oh yeah. So it's 5.56. 5.56. I didn't know that it was in 5.56. But yeah, your Galil will be in 308. Just like this one. This one is called the Ace Galil, or Galil Ace. This thing is one, which should be a 308 caliber. If you are a California citizen, I highly recommend getting a 308. Same thing as a Tavor. Tavor comes in different shapes and sizes, different calibers as well. Can even be a 22. The bullpup action rifle will be a longer standard barrel. Like how an M4 is pretty short, your Tavor will probably be the same length or longer. We'll just take this AUG, for example. Bullpup just means that your gun has its magazine in the rear. With the charging handle in the front, you can lock back the bolt from that short distance to, put the firearm in battery. Finding bullpup firearms in civilian hands is pretty odd and might be pretty rare to see. Now getting one of these is just the same as any other firearm you can collect. Bullpups come in different shapes, sizes, different calibers. Some are heavier than others, some of them are faster or louder. Just depends on where they are from, who they're made by, and where you got it, probably. These things are pretty fun and easy to shoot. The ergonomics may not be the greatest, they might not look the nicest, but they perform well enough. Now moving on to British service rifle, probably a retired service rifle. It's a L85A2, I believe. Yeah, A2. They have different variants, just like how they have different variants for the fire rate, the output, probably like around 750 rounds or more. You can throw any optic as long as you have the right equipment for it. Same with the G3 as well. 308 rifle. The L85A1 is not 5.56. G3 or long gun. I refer to these as long guns or rifles. Moving on to the AS Val, it comes in two different types. You have the VSS, which is the sniper variant. This is a special forces firearm in Russia. It has a great power output, especially against body armor, firing a caliber of 9x39 at a very high fire rate, maybe close to 11,000 or 900. Many people can customize this however they like. Every firearm made or customized is by that user's preference. Just like any AK type platform firearm, you will need a optic rail attachment, that little hinge. So we'll just create a VSS model. VSS model would have a longer barrel, a different stock, etc. So for this firearm, you'll have like a ring type thing to attach different things to it. I'm a little sick right now. So this thing may have low velocity in a video game, but in real life it may be different.
Cover me! I'm reloading!
Fire rate is at 900 in this video game. A real life counterpart. This thing is very fun to shoot, and it does have an integral suppressor. I'm not quite sure about its accuracy or other performance. Moving on to a 308 rifle, your California compliant firearm. Just a moment. So you could buy a SOCOM M14 EBR 14, the MK14, whatever you want to call it. MK stands for Mark, or, well, it doesn't. Probably. But this is just a more modern version of your M1 Garand rifle. Some of these can be used with the 308 cartridge. You can have your rifle set up however you like. You can use this for hunting. You can use this anytime, anywhere, for any reason. This firearm is extremely powerful. The EBR stands for Enhanced Battle Rifle. The Enhanced Battle Rifle is one of my favorites, and it's honestly really expensive. So if you were to get something like this, maybe look for something similar.
Okay, let's do it!
With all the metal parts on it, you'll be able to mitigate recoil and have a stable firing position, and maybe quick and easy follow-up shots if need be. The high recoil from the bullet will off-put your sight maybe a little bit, depending on how you are or who you are. If you are a scrawny guy, the recoil might be pretty high. If you're a big guy, it may not feel like anything. Now, your 5.7 caliber weapon, your PDW, depending on state or location, this may be legal to obtain, but it is in a 5.7 by 28 cartridge, little angry bullet moving really fast. You can legally buy an FN 5.7 that is chambered in 5.7, which you should be. Great little gun, and this PDW You could call it a PDW if you want, depending on your state, but this P90 is one of the greatest inventions, in my opinion. I believe maybe the French uses it, the GIGN CTU, probably not CTU. Here's your F1 FAMAS. It's also a bullpup rifle used by the French. This thing is a scary beast. Full metal, I believe, maybe polymer handle, but it should be all metal. This is a older variant of it. This thing is really fun, really fast, really scary to be at the other end of the barrel. Comes stock with a 25 round magazine. Not quite sure why. Maybe it was invented around the Cold War era, so maybe the 70s, 60s, even 80s. Then you have your Vector 45 ACP, your Chris Vector K10. This thing can come in very different shapes and sizes. 10 mil, 45, 40, 9, 22 even. This thing is a all metal firearm. And it has a recoil reciprocating system within that little box area where the magazine is, which means the more you fire this gun, the more fun you're gonna have. Since this gun has a recoil system, that means it's going to mitigate recoil a lot because of the system pulling back into the magazine well area, making the fire function like it has no recoil. You can also throw on a brake, a comp, flash hider, suppressor. It doesn't matter how you build your gun, but I guarantee you will have a lot of fun. Especially if you have it's like a very strong recoil. Especially if you get a 2-minute 22. Very fast, only a heavy gun. I personally wouldn't use it as a PDW, but I'm not quite sure who or what would use this. Now moving on to your MCX. It's like a new service weapon for the army. Should be like a Spear LT, perhaps? Or just a regular MCX rifle. Very new, performance made by Sig Sauer. There's a lot of metal parts, a lot of various sizes and caliber. There's one that's a 6.8 Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor. There's a Blackout, 760 by 39, and of course 5.56. This thing is really great, especially for long distance shooting.
Okay, let's do it.
So that should cover majority of the firearms in this video game. MP7, very light, very fast, very angry, with a 4.6 by 30 bullet coming at your face. This thing is very fun and should be accurate. Most people should be familiar with it. This gun performs the same as any other 308 or a 308 AR-15. The S8SS stands for Semi-Automatic Sniper System. The Keltec KST-12 has a 2-functioning tube, which gives it a maximum capacity of 14.1. So there is a switch for you to switch which tube you would like to use, or which tube you would like to load with. By holding down square, you can switch the tube back and forth, moving to whatever tube you like to use. And we have the NP5, AP5, APS, SP5 variant. There's a SP5, NP5, APS, AP5. Performance great. I don't know if it's a clone or a Zenith clone. It doesn't matter. Still chambered at 9mm, still acts the same. Especially if it's in a Zenith. It kind of doesn't matter. As long as you're having fun with it. A lot of people like this. Police Force uses it. Low recoil, and it's really fun. So a different version of it. And that covers the majority of firearms. Especially if you live in California, some of these guns are really hard to obtain.